knew to do so many things, you know. My toolkit was very small. And so I would try this thing, and it might work one time for a little while. And then I would try something else. And then it was like eventually nothing was working, but because all I knew was what I knew, I just kept cycling back through all of the same things that didn't work. And I did that and being, not being able to grieve for the loss of my son. I don't even remember the first 4 months after he died. I have no memories of him, of what happened. I mean, it was just like such a shock. And so the first actual memory I have after Joey died was my birthday. I had come home from work, and they had a girl in the house that was homeless, and because she had an injured leg, or she was walking around with a brace on or something, I let her stay. And they were continually, every time I turned around, I was finding them high. But I felt so bad for this girl because her parents had kicked her out of the house, and she had nowhere to go, and supposedly she was injured, and so I spent the night before and all day of my birthday in the emergency room because Jackie had overdosed on cortisone and cough and cold, which is what the kids call triple C. She weighed about 85 pounds, really, really little. She was about 14 years old, and she'd taken an entire box of triple C. And we had her carried by ambulance to the emergency room, and we spent a good part of the day the next day because they wouldn't release her because her heart rate would not return to normal.
And this is all after Joey had passed.
This was after Joey passed.
And then Jackie is 14 years old.
That's correct. And so being in a state of grief like I was, and I did not know what to do, and I just continued to do the things that weren't working. And I would take the phone away, or I would I would do, they would find a way to get the phone turned back on, and it was just amazing some of the things that they did. It was total chaos in my house. And then about October, I believe, it happened again. And I had had enough of Cornerstone with Joey. I had a sponsor and was working my own program, that something clicked in my head that I needed to do whatever it took, even if that included calling the police. And I think that was playing in my head up to that point. But you have this fear. You don't want your kids to get arrested or go to jail or anything like that. So I remember walking into the house that night, and Jackie was she looked like a robot. She had a blank stare on her face. When her body turned, her head turned at the same. She was completely out of it with something, and I didn't know what it was. So I went into the kitchen, and I just remember sitting on the floor of the kitchen and just telling myself, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. So I called 911, and I told them my daughter, and I found out, I went in and checked my son, my 20-year-old son, and he was under the influence as well. And so I called 911, and I said, I need help. I have 2 children that have overdosed on something. Please come and help me get them some help. 2 ambulances showed up at my house and loaded them up and carried them to the emergency room. And it was after that we really started our journey with recovery. I had Jackie in one hospital, I had AJ in another hospital, and Jackie was in for several weeks. AJ was only in until he got some kind of medication.
And what are their ages at this point?
At this point, Jackie was 14 and AJ was 16. And so they did have a different course early on. Jackie was in inpatient, and the day she got out of that inpatient program, she relapsed. My son has always struggled. Well, my son has always had ADD. So from the time he was 6 years old, he took Adderall for his ADD. When he got into 7th grade, he was very involved in, the school had a show choir, and he'd always loved to sing. He had been in the Houston Children's Choir years before, and so he got involved in the show choir. His 8th grade year, he was designated as dance captain to teach all the newer ones that were coming in the dance moves for their routines or whatever. And so he was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, he started becoming paranoid, had issues with anxiety. He was walking to class and would have to lay his head down on his desk just to get through the class, because he was paranoid that everybody was talking about him. Come to find out, that was exactly when he started smoking marijuana. So we battled the anxiety. We ended up back into a psychiatrist's office to battle anxiety and the depression that resulted because of it, when in actuality all it was the marijuana and how it affected him. And so his treatment was different. He came out of after he was regulated on medicine for his anxiety and depression, he began seeing a therapist. And as soon as Jackie came out of the inpatient program, I put them both of them together in an outpatient program that was in the Woodlands. And they went to school. They went to school in the mornings and into the afternoon. And I picked them up from school and took them to this outpatient program, and they stayed until 9 o'clock at night. Come to find out, they were using the entire time. They were receiving drug tests from the outpatient program, and the outpatient program was not telling me that they were continuing to test RD. They kept them until the